Friends and fellow travelers, good morning and thanks for tuning in. After more than 1 month spent in Mexico City, I made it to Puebla, officially Heroica Puebla de Zaragoza, or also known with its original name Puebla de Los Angeles. It's the fourth most important city in Mexico, after Mexico City, Guadalajara and Monterrey, and it's just a couple of hours down south Mexico City, traffic permitting. Today I'm going to take you around to check some of the things that Puebla can offer us. Puebla is a colonial city for excellence. It was founded in 1531 to connect Veracruz with Mexico Tenochtitlan, and since 1987 is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We are now in the Zócalo, the main square, and it's a very calm and relaxing place. Lots of trees around, benches to sit and chill, the water of the fountain has a background sound, and a huge cathedral in front of us. First of all, let's see what's around the Zócalo. It's honestly one of the best squares I visited in Latin America. The Zócalo is a popular meeting spot and one of the most important places of the daily life in Puebla. The streets of the downtown area are built around this beautiful patio where you can find different shops, cafes and restaurants, as well as some of the main attractions of the city. On one side of the square there's the National Palace, an imposing building that you can visit only with an authorized guide for free, but the most iconic place is, without any doubt, the Metropolitan Cathedral. 73 meters tall, is one of the tallest cathedrals in the country. Has been completed in 1649, 4 years earlier than the Cathedral of Mexico City, which by the way I showed you in one of my previous videos, so feel free to go back and check it out. Between the National Palace and those restaurants there's a gallery. Over there you can find some souvenirs and food, but don't rush buying souvenirs because later on we're gonna visit an actual handicrafts market. From the main square you can also take one of the city tour buses. They're gonna take you around, and this one, for example, the green one behind me, is gonna take you to Cholula. Next to the cathedral there's a very interesting place to visit, and it's called Biblioteca Palafoxiana, and it's the most ancient public library in America. In 1646, the Bishop Palafox donated his personal library, around 5,000 books, to the seminary of San Juan, instructing that everyone could have access to those volumes. Following that donation, more people inside the church started to donate their books to the library, and today the collection counts with more than 45,000 pieces written in 14 different languages. On Calle Cinco de Mayo, make a quick stop at the Church of Santo Domingo to visit the Capilla del Rosario. It is one of the masterpieces of the new Spanish Baroque in Mexico. Built around 1690, its golden charms envelopes the visitors and earned this place the title of Reliquary of America by Pope John Paul II, who, during his visit in 1979, had the opportunity to admire it and fall in love with its beauty. A few steps away from the Church of Santo Domingo there's the market called La Victoria. The market was inaugurated on May 5, 1913, although the construction began in 1856 during the government of Porfirio Díaz. This as part of a project to modernize and decorate the capital of Puebla. Its name is a tribute to the General Guadalupe Victoria, first military governor of Puebla and first president of Mexico. Another typical thing of Puebla are its sweets and candies. They are such an important part of the city that there's an entire street just filled with candy shops. Santa Clara Street is the place where you can find every type of artisanal sweet. The name Santa Clara comes from an old convent of the nuns of the Order of Santa Clara, who since the 18th century dedicated themselves to making milk sweets, a tradition that continued even after its closing. This is a camote. It's very sweet. I am honestly not a candy person, so I'll pass on this. But if you like candies, go for it. Because of the popularity of this candy, the members of the local football team are called Los Camoteros. It's lunchtime, so let's have a quick lunch break here in Calle de los Dulces. There's this place behind me making Semitas, which is a typical huge sandwich of Puebla. During my stay in Puebla, I tried Semitas in 3 different places. The first time here at La Semita de Oro in Calle de los Dulces. It was the most expensive one due to the location of the shop, of course. Nevertheless, it was massive, freshly made and very tasty once you add some chipotle and fresh chili. This is bigger than my head. Another place where you can get fabulous semitas is the market El Alto. It tasted even better with mole. It was cheaper, but the size was a bit smaller than the previous one. I had the most delicious semita in Mercado del Carmen at Semitas Las Poblanitas. It's been the cheapest and tastiest one, as you can tell by the locals queuing, but if you are picky with food hygiene, skip this place. Puebla is one of the best cities in Mexico when it comes to food. There are so many local dishes that you'll need days to try them all. Of course, you cannot say you've been to Puebla if you skip mole, a sauce made mixing more than 50 ingredients with an unforgettable taste of spicy cacao. This chalupa usually come with pulled meat, but this one is vegetarian, so they just come with salsa verde, salsa roja, and onion and cheese. It's definitely something you have to try if you're around Puebla. If you're looking for handcrafts, head to the market called El Parian, not far away from the main square. The word Parian comes from the Filipino and means market. It was not unusual for all the Spanish imperial cities to have a market called Parian. It's a very small market. It's basically a 50-meter alley packed with souvenirs and handcrafts. Right in front of El Parian, there's El Barrio del Artista. Its founders, the painter brothers José and Ángel Márquez Figueroa, together with their most notable students from the Academy of the Fine Arts of the city, formed the artistic group in charge of the neighborhood. The place was known at that time as La Plazuela del Factor, which in 1827 was used as a second-hand clothing trading center, better known as the Parian Chico. Today, the artists' neighborhood is one of the most popular and visited places by tourists in the city of Puebla. There are 45 studios of artists who produce, exhibit and sell their work. Currently, art exhibitions, concerts and outdoor works are held in this bohemian neighborhood, and you can give yourself the pleasure of walking through it or sitting on the benches while sipping a coffee. Another place worth visiting is the Museum of the Mexican Revolution. This is the house where it all began: revolution, history and patriotism. On November 18, 1910, this important national movement began with the attack on the house where the Serdán family lived. The first armed uprising of the Mexican Revolution occurred when the police were issued a search warrant for the Serdán house, which led Colonel Miguel Cabrera, chief of the police, on orders from the governor to search the Serdán house. Aquiles, one of the brothers, was warned by a worker that they were going to search his house, and so he organized himself to defend the place. As soon as Colonel Cabrera entered with 2 other men to search the house, he was murdered and the other 2 were wounded by gunshots. Shortly after notifying the army, the shootout arose and Máximo Serdán and several followers of the revolutionary movement died. Aquiles hid in a hole for 14 hours until 2 in the morning of November 19, when he was murdered when he tried to get out. During the fray, around a dozen sympathizers of the Serdán brothers died, as well as Aquiles and Máximo themselves. Let's move a bit further away from the city center and let's get to the Fort de Guadalupe. Okay guys, I'm here. This is the Fortress of Guadalupe. A very important page of Mexican history has been written right here. We are on the place where on May 5th, 1862, the Mexican troops stopped the French army, which at that time was considered the most powerful army in the world. Imagine thousands of French soldiers climbing up the hill from this direction. Inside the museum of the fort you'll find detailed explanations about how the battle developed and eventually won by the Mexican troops. Before leaving, take your time to enjoy an unmatched view over Puebla. To reach the Fort of Guadalupe and the Fort of Loreto, the soldiers used a tunnel that today we can visit. The 5th of May historical passage is a tunnel with a distance of 477 meters. It is approximately 3.5 centuries old. These ancient tunnels in the center of Puebla were discovered in 2014. Although the reason why this structure was built is still unknown, one of its possible uses is considered to be a combat strategy for the defense of the city of Puebla in the Battle of May 5th, 1862 against the French army. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Check this out. Arches of different architectural styles depending on the period, vaults and retaining walls are something you will see down there, in a somewhat gloomy and mysterious environment that, for years, was completely buried in mud and water. Here you can see all the ledgers of the battle. This one is the food accounting: biscuits, meat, rice, aguardiente. This is alcohol, beans. This one is for the ammunitions and weapons. Here you see the name of Porfirio Diaz when he was still a general. And this is the amount of troops in the month of January 1862. That one is the exit. We have to cross the street and go back in the tunnel. And that's it. That's the exit. Guys, the entry ticket for these tunnels was just a very affordable 31 pesos. So no excuses, come here and visit this place. One of the most popular streets of Puebla is Calle de los Sapos, a narrow street adorned with beautiful colored colonial houses, which hosts boutiques, hotels and artisan shops. A truly picturesque place to walk. Also, don't be afraid and check the interiors of the colonial houses because they are true masterpieces. If you are nearby on the weekend, don't miss the antiques market that comes to life right here in these alleys. You never know what you might find. Lots of Star Wars collectibles, Master Yoda, E.T., Mandalorian, Darth Vader. If you collect coins, this is the place. The last place we're going to visit during our stay in the city is a small town just on the outskirts of Puebla and is called Cholula. It's one of Mexico's 132 magical towns. We are in the town center and this one is the Convent of San Gabriel Arcángel, one of the oldest churches on the continent. It was built in 1552, right on top of an indigenous teocalli dedicated to Quetzalcoatl. On top of this side of the church there are 49 domes. Cholula has been the stage of one of the darkest pages of the Spanish conquest of Tenochtitlan. On his way to the Aztec capital, Hernán Cortés stopped here and he gave the order to kill the people of Cholula. Within a couple of hours, the Spanish killed around 3,000 people, even though we still don't know the exact number of the victims. The main reason to visit Cholula is the Sanctuary of Our Lady of Remedies. This sanctuary has been built on top of the Pyramid of Cholula, which is considered the biggest pyramid in the world. And by that I mean it's the largest monument ever constructed on Earth, nearly twice the volume of the Pyramid of Giza. In the early 1930s, knowledge about the Great Pyramid was scarce. Exploration began in 1931 under the direction of the architect Ignacio Marquina. After 25 years, 8 kilometers of tunnels have been excavated, enabling the discovery of 7 superimposed pyramids. Let's get on top of this pyramid. Guys, it's time for me to pack up everything and get back to Puebla because it's starting to rain. I'll see you in the next video. I'll be moving to a different state, always here in Mexico. I'll get to Chiapas, so I'll see you over there. Bye guys.